What's your reaction to this?
Well, it looks like it's still a developing story. Earlier this morning, I was saying that some of the headlines indicate that there is a controversy among lawyers and aviation experts as to how the matter has been handled so far. Some people are alleging that, our government, federal government acted unilaterally, that the airline operators of Nigeria had no powers to have slammed down with a lifetime ban, and 3, that the Minister of Aviation was not in a position to take a decision to say, community service will mean that, we make Kwam1 an ambassador, even if people think the word ambassador means something. And I was saying, look, in some other places, when you commit an infraction, they can say, okay, community service. But that community service, there's a certain form that it takes. It's not about calling you an ambassador, and tomorrow Kwam1 will go and create a content calling himself Ambassador Kwam1, and we'll turn the thing around, and Rufai will sit down here and he will say, Ambassador, Abuja Talo, Tambolo, no, also what was Ambassador, Talaso Fuji, Mani Fuji, Mani Fuji. Don't think we become this will become comical and ridiculous. The point we're making is that, look, there should be standards. There should be due process, and there should be equality of persons before the law. As for Ms. Amundsen, who has now been comforted after public outcry, well, she says she wants to heal fully, attend to emotional trauma and all that. But what we are saying is that she has rights under the law to press charges. The random violation of her rights, and there are lawyers who have said, well, they are ready to defend her pro bono, represent her pro bono, if she herself is willing to push the button and say that she has been unfairly treated. We have made the point about right to fair hearing. Now that she's recovering, when she recovers fully, I'm sure that Nigerians would like to hear our own side of the story. Now, the people covering her face, they didn't need to cover her face. She's a known person. If I already, some people have seen them on social media, on Instagram, they are looking for her. Some people in Delta State are already inviting her to come and attend programs and spend the weekend. Somebody has already offered to place her on a salary of 500,000 naira, every month. You see, the Lord works in mysterious ways. they may have created opportunities for her by trying to put her down. So you think you are pulling somebody down, you create market for that person. However, the big lesson here is about what the minister said, that there will be a retreat, and all the stakeholders will learn lessons from the experience. And it's not just the people in the aviation sector, even ordinary passengers. Do you know who I am crowd? They all have an opportunity now to learn lessons. For all of us to realize that where your right begins is where another person's right ends, and where the right of another person ends is where another person's right begins. In other words, we live in an interdependent ecosystem, and people must just respect the rule of law and respect, where it comes to aviation, the right of other people to be safe. Whether you are a prince or a plebeian, or you are a chief, or you are a community leader, all of us must be governed under the same rule of law, and there must be no preferential treatment.
Absolutely. So now let's take another story, because as of now, there's a shocking new video that's being circulated online where you see a group of children being hit by an adult man, and people are reacting horrified by what they see. So let's play a portion of that video and discuss it on the other side.
They bring these children, only God knows if they kidnapped these children or whatever, I don't know. This is supposed to be a church. In that basin, they'll flog these children, naked them, both boys and girls, flog these children, and this is day 3.
So in a post on X from NAPTIP, which is the Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking, they say, thank you for all the tags. This specific incident has been reported to our Port Harcourt command, and it's being investigated immediately. So one person reacted to this video saying, geez, I couldn't even watch it completely. It's so disturbing, they need to be stopped. Another person saying illiteracy, ignorance, and a lack of exposure. And in this video, they say that this allegedly happened in Enka in PH. So, we blurred the video because it is very graphic if we were to show it without the blur. But Vimbai, I'll take your general reaction to this first. And them saying that this is apparently a church?
Yeah, and also they're minors, so it's important to protect their identities. Goodness, I cannot understand what's happening here. I don't want to delve into the realm of speculation, because people are calling it different things. I also saw some people saying that it's rituals. There have been so many narratives created around this, and we don't have the clarity of that just yet, unless somebody has spoken out. However, what is very clear here is that there is inhumane, abusive treatment towards minors. That's what we need to take away from this. So I don't think we should cover it under the umbrella of any organization and give it merit and give it credence and say that, oh, there's an organization that does this and this and this, because what's happening here is abuse. And unfortunately, we see a lot of this, especially when you go out into the outskirts, into the more rural areas of Nigeria. You see that especially, children, young women, in many instances, once you're poor, it's almost like you're condemned by society and you're exposed to this type of treatment. Again, for me, it's difficult to further comment without really knowing, what's going on there. As somebody also said, it's a school. There's so much speculation around it, but I hope we're able to get into it. Or if anybody else has more information, at least it's out there now, to really understand what's happening in this place, because those people involved need to be arrested, and the whole thing needs to be investigated, and those poor children need to be rehabilitated. They need counseling. They need to be put in a safe environment. Hopefully they'll be able to narrate what they're going through, how they ended up in this situation, so that we can prevent it, because there are stories about things like baby factories and so forth in different parts of the country. So you hope that this is not a replica of something that's happening elsewhere, and that it's not part of a tradition of a certain group of people who enjoy taking advantage of children in this way. So for me, it's just inhumane.
Rufai, do you have any?
I mean, it's a sad one that we can even have a country where people take advantage of children this way. But like I always say, it's also a culture. It's a culture that we've built over the years where people are quick to hit. It's in this country that people say they are performing a spiritual rite, to cast out demons from people, and they beat them. In some cases, they even lacerate their bodies. Same in this country. It's in this country we see people high up there. You look at the way they treat their domestic staff in this country. So we have a culture of hitting people. I mean, it's in this country, a top politician, in fact, a governorship candidate in the States, alluded to the fact that he beat somebody. In fact, he used the word with a beat. On live interview, he said he did beat somebody to reset his brain. Yes, I mean, we've heard when people say things like, oh, I would slap you to auto-correct your head. So we are so quick to hit. But does it make it right? No. It's become a cultural thing. And that's why when you look at the IBOM Air incident, it was so easy for slaps to fly out quickly. And that's why when we have a dial back, so what kind of society do we want? Yes, action and reaction are equal and opposite. We've been able to dial back to see that, and we've got some evidence from people that were in the flight, anyway, anecdotal evidence, that, oh, there might have been a provocation first. But the question we should ask is, did the provocation warrant the slaps, the pulling somebody out that way, a deliberate act? So for the opportune time, people are going to analyze that video. So there was a deliberate attempt by the member of the crew of IBOM Air to actually expose that woman's assets, and it was a wrong one. So they have analyzed the video over and over and over again, and you can see the deliberate act. So in the rage of something, your act is to deliberately expose and get somebody naked. I mean, this is the same country where we see that people fight in public and they're so quick to tear themselves into nakedness. So there's something culturally wrong with our psychology. I don't know, maybe, I don't want to say it came from a place of colonialism, because we've long gone out, but there's a cultural mindset of abuse. We're so quick to hit, we're so quick to beat, be it children, be it adults, be it everything. There are a couple of men that shout, oh, I am this society, and they beat their wives in the homes. They've slapped, if their wives say anything, they backhand, they slap their wives. And these are the men that are leading society. So that's the kind of country we've built. And except we start to change that culture that is no longer tenable, nothing will happen.
Well, the issue in Port Harcourt, very simply, minors are involved, you said. Now, there's something in Nigeria called the Child Rights Act of 2003, to which, almost all the 36 states and the FCT now have, signed and adopted and domesticated, which means that it's interesting that in the case in Port Harcourt, that NAPTIP, that's the agency against the prohibition of trafficking in persons, it has taken an interest in the matter, and the police command have said that they are investigating this. So the thing to do is to ensure that whether it's an adult or a minor, there are enabling laws under which the rights of those persons can be upheld. There is also the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of Nigeria. Although, you know, some analysis say that it's more operative in the Federal Capital Territory. But the spirit of the law, what is called the spirit of the law, is that nobody, whether minor or adult, should have their rights to dignity as a human being derogated from. And so when you brutalize children, whether they are male or female, the law should take its course. What we expect is that in this particular case, that NAPTIP says they are interested in this particular story, and the police command say that they are already investigating. We would like to see the outcome. And that persons who have brutalized other persons and dehumanize them should be sanctioned accordingly. This is the whole thing we say here about equality of persons before the law. And the state has a responsibility to defend everybody under this territory called Nigeria.
Absolutely. Keep watching that one as well. So let's now turn our focus to Delta State, to Ethiopia East local government to be exact. Because a resident there, Aki Efe Vincent, is now alleging that the local government chairman, Augustine Ogedegbe, is threatening his life after he posted videos calling out the bad roads in his community. Let's listen to what he had to say.
The Ethiopia East local government chairman just came to my place to warn my family, warn my wife, my children that I should drop out the video, else he will deal with me. What I did is my legitimate rights.
Let's also just play the first video Efe posted, where he talks about how the roads in a flooded section of Ovu community could be fixed in just 2 or 3 months.
If you take 0.01 out of it, it's enough to tie this road. To whom much is given, much is expected. You can't tell me that I'm insulting a local government and when I'm telling him to do what he's supposed to do. The money that he's receiving from the federal government is enough to solve this problem. Must he stay there for 4 years before they can get to solve a problem like this? You are telling me that it's just 1 year in office. So must he spend 4 years before they can do something like this?
So we haven't yet seen a statement or response from the local government chairman himself, but people have been responding to Efe's videos. They've called him brave. They've thanked him for speaking up. Dr. Abati, I'll start with you. What do you think all of this says about the dynamic between people and the leaders that should be working for them?
Well, the first principle is that leaders, those in government, they are accountable to the people. And the people also have rights under the Constitution, the freedom of expression, Section 39 thereof. And so when we have citizens taking action, there's also something under the Police Act known as citizen action, which means that a citizen can speak up. However, the problem we have here is that when a citizen speaks up, as this gentleman is doing in this video, as others like him have also done before now, what happens is that they get intimidated, they get harassed. In fact, there is a particular gentleman who criticized a certain state governor. He disappeared. Up to today, nobody has found him. He disappeared without trace. There is the case of an NYSC lady. I think you brought that story. You know, Raye or so, is that the name? That, okay, she criticized the Tinubu government. Now she cannot get her discharge certificate. They will tell her, go and come. You didn't do biometric verification. And the guy says she's always made herself available for biometric verification. For us to have a good society where the common good prevails, it must be possible for citizens, whatever may be their station, to be able to express themselves without being discriminated against. After all, Section 42 of the 1999 Constitution forbids discrimination. You cannot be discriminated against on the basis of expressing your views. And this gentleman is saying the local government chairman is threatening his family and threatening him too. No, what is the name of that local government chairman? I think we should call him out properly.
Austin,
who is he? Is he? No, Austin, if we have his name, please.
Yeah, we do. Austin Odig.
What's his name? Let's have his name. Oh, you don't have his name?
Scroll up. We do. Austin
Austin Ogedegbe. That's the correct pronunciation. Whatever local government it is, he has no right to threaten or harass anybody. And if he has anything to say in his own defense, to deny, he also has every right to say so. But we just say that this should not be a pattern where people express themselves, they ask questions, they hold people in positions of authority accountable, and what they get is harassment. So, Chairman Austin Ogedegbe, please, somebody has called you out, you know, one of your constituents, you have the right to defend yourself, and we would like to hear from you.
Absolutely. Bye.
Very quickly, the local government is supposed to be the tier of government that's closest to the people. This is the place you're supposed to be able to go to express yourself, and this is a place that's also supposed to directly address people at the grass. That's why we call it the grassroots tier. Now, if at that tier you're just doing local government, you have not risen to the next tier. You're not yet in the State House of Assembly. You're not yet in the House of Reps or the National Assembly. You're not a governor. You're not in federal. If you haven't risen up the ladder, the hierarchy of governance, and at this level, you cannot tolerate feedback, that is a problem. That's a sign of a deeper issue. I hope the gentleman involved does have some sort of evidence that can corroborate the fact that he was threatened, because that's also important for us to be able to stand by that. However, the fact that at the tier of government that's supposed to be relating with people on a daily basis, there's already big manism. This big manism continues to creep up. Earlier today, I broke down just some of the things that we're failing at, that if we correct them, so life would be a lot smoother. One of them is elite impunity. Local government is elite in its own context, and you're already oppressing the people beneath you. Just one layer between you and the people. That's very unfortunate. The grievance is genuine. If it can't be addressed immediately, if there are no funds or whatever it is, address it in a humane way. There's no need to threaten. There's no need to resort to intimidating people who are clearly frustrated. Right now, we're living in a pressure cooker. It's tough. We all have, whether it be from electricity to school fees to whatever, people are dealing with a lot right now. So the very least our leaders can do is just show a little bit of compassion.
So, like I said before, see, all of this is a cultural problem. We just have that culture of impunity. Is it not in this country, Dr. Bati, you and I? Somebody was caught on camera committing a crime. When people say it, you know what the person said? He sent his lawyers to write people that might say it on air that he was committing a crime, that they've not been convicted, that they should cease and desist. The person is a top politician. Till today, nothing has happened to him. In fact, let me even say, it was in this country, Dr. Abati, you and I, somebody of blessed memories, because you criticized him in a column, started fighting you. We remember.
People are always fighting.
I'm used to it. See, we remember. No, this person particularly. We don't want to, because he's passed now. But you and I know that person. But these are the same people that say, oh, criticize me, bring it. But they can't take the criticism. You know why they can't take the criticism? Because they think they are God. An average Nigerian leader, once he gets to the point of leadership, thinks he's God. That's why he can't take the criticism. So for him, he likes people that will pamper his ego. He likes people that will say he's the best thing ever, because he assumes the position of God. So when you criticize, it is an aberration to them. And because we also have a society, because of poor economy and all of that, a lot of people have known this. So they are so quick to be a bandwagon, to be praising them. So when you stand the point and you criticize them, you become an aberration. So I'm sure probably, I don't know what transpired, and the local commissioner has the right of reply. I'm sure probably, as in the case that happens in all Nigeria's case, what will happen is that they will look and say, who is this idiot that has the temerity to go and say, I didn't do the road? Must be an idiot. Because he forgets that he is there to serve the people. But what do you expect? In a country where people will give people guns to kill people because they want to serve the same people they are killing, and they tell you service. So it's a contract, it's a misalignment. But we must constantly call them out and tell them the way it is.
Absolutely.
Opportunity for the girl. Anyway, congratulations to her. Now, she will not decide what to do, if she wants to go through that pressing charges against them, or she just wants this matter to die. I tell you, it's a lie. This matter is not dying. It's not going to die just like that. The girl have a case and she's going to cash out. Anyways, the problem of this country, this is Nigeria for you. Like this local government chairman who is threatening somebody. Everything in Nigeria gone wrong. You can't speak, you can't complain, you can't criticize, you can't. What are we going to do? And the country is not working. If the country is working, we don't have any reasons to complain. You are representing these constituencies. We have every reasons to call you. That's why you see a lot of things are going wrong. People now refuse to speak out. They can't speak out again. If you speak, they come for you. If they don't come for you, they come for your family members. They threatening you left and right, just because somebody decided to do the right thing, to speak for the people. Do you understand? Now, as if you don't know, you are not aware of this road. Now, less than 24 hours, somebody make a video of this road. It gets to you, then you can react and start threatening the person already. Can you imagine? And the funniest part of it, the people in that area that the road affected, they are still the one. This man, for example, they will still use some of the touts in that area to go after this young man who is making the video, which is not supposed to be so. This is our area. This is where we do our business. We do our business. That is, we are generating little money to pay our bills. Now, federal government said, in fact, it's even going to get worse now because you don't have any excuse. Federal government said if you are from next year, January, if you are doing business, you earn above 800,000. There's no excuse for you. You must pay tax. You must pay monthly tax if you earn above 800,000 a month. So somebody will be earning 800,000 in a month. You are expecting the person to pay 20%. 20% of 800,000. Do you know how much that you are going to pay back to federal government? This federal government does not give you electricity. This government does not give you good roads, light, electricity, and all those things. So can you imagine? Anyways, man, just this video, please share this video, subscribe, like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, please.